Hello, my friends. This is Dr. Ginny Baro, and welcome back to Start the Day with Ginny. Today, I'm going to continue speaking about some of the insights that we gleaned from our masterclass this past November, because the attendees, the women who were there, the leaders who joined us for the masterclass, were so insightful, and I learned so much from them that I want to share some of the takeaways from that masterclass. And I shared with you already in my previous video about investing in yourself and your future success and the value of investing in yourself. And I want to take you through the rest of the golden nuggets one by one. So the next one is showing up for yourself. What does it look like to show up for yourself in your career and in your life? We find so many people who are struggling as to where do I go from here? What is the vision that I have for my future? What does it require for me to get there? And in order for us to do anything about our future and our life and whether or not we succeed or we stay status quo, it has so much to do with how we show up for ourselves and what that means to you, because I'm sure that showing up for me may be something very different than what it means to you. And my desire during this video and this communication with you is to help you explore, what does showing up look like for you in your life? And we can take a look at the whole wheel of life and the different areas and segments of your life, such as your career, which is what I focus most on when I'm speaking with my professional clients. There's also the personal side of things, your relationships. And relationships are a tremendously important part of our life. If we don't have healthy relationships, we don't really have a great quality of life because we are gregarious beings. And so we can look at our relationships. You can look at your personal growth and spirituality and your community. That's another area you can see, how am I showing up in that particular segment of my life? You can also look at your health and nutrition. How am I showing up for myself as it relates to how I'm taking care of myself? You can also take a look at your physical environment. How am I showing up within my physical environment, my home, my office? How tidy am I? How messy am I? How much peace does my physical environment bring me or not? Is it chaotic? Is it a complete mess? And as a result, I feel disorganized, for example. And there is one last aspect, which is your finances. How are you showing up in terms of managing your finances, which could be correlated with your career as well? But having a clear path forward as it relates to your financial future and how you're currently managing your resources financially, it's an extremely important factor in your life and overall success, and whether or not you are moving in the right direction for independence or not, right? So as it relates to showing up for yourself, let's focus on career. What are you currently doing to move forward and grow and advance in your career? And you may say, Ginny, I don't want to advance. I'm happy doing what I'm doing. And that's okay. What I'm referring more so is, how are you growing within the role that you're currently performing that you may be happy with? And so for some of us, growing implies either staying in place and learning and continuing to become the subject matter expert within our fields, so we can continue to increase our demand and the value that we bring to our workplace. And for others, it means literally advancing and growing to a new level within your organization. And so whether you're staying put and learning more, or whether you're looking to advance, both of those require you to show up. And so the question for you right now is, which of those do you fall under? Are you happy with where you are and you are looking to continue to develop your knowledge base? Or are you really looking to advance from where you are to the next level because you are ready to contribute at the next level? There is no judgment, only questions that can help you get more clarity as to how you're showing up. If you notice that you are currently in the role that you want, and you're not taking proactive steps to continually gain more knowledge, to become that person that everyone goes to because you're the subject matter expert in that particular thing that you know so well, then this is your personal invitation to look for ways in which to expand your knowledge. So whether you are reading books, whether you're listening on the go to an audiobook, to a YouTube video, to a podcast, whatever the medium is that you may use to learn, what and how are you proactively engaging in those activities to continue to grow in your knowledge base? You may also find yourself, depending on how many years you've been doing what you're doing, that you want to explore new topics. And there's always new information out there as it relates to something tangible to your field of study, something relatable to your field of study. And so what is that for you? And how are you creating the space and the structure so that you can, over time, gain more knowledge within your field? That's part one. Part two is, if you are looking to advance, how are you showing up for yourself? How are you building relationships within your organization? How are you exploring opportunities that could already be available for you and you may just not know about them? How are you expressing and communicating with your mentor and sponsor about where you see yourself adding the most value within the organization? And I know I threw in there mentor and sponsors. If you're looking to advance, who are your mentors and sponsors? And if you don't have them, how can you show up for yourself by letting people around you know that you are interested in adding value at this particular level and that you are indeed looking for someone who can provide some support either as a mentor or as a sponsor? I highly recommend that you keep your eyes open, look for people who you value and respect, and that you create the opportunity yourself to reach out to them from a place of, that person knows how to do this thing really well. They're very well respected within the company. I would love to learn more about them. Come from a place of curiosity, genuine and authentic curiosity about the person, who they are, what is it that they do, what they know, and reach out to them for a 15-minute cyber coffee from your perspective as the person who's doing the role that you're doing. If this person is within your line of work, then this person has a vested interest in what you do. And so it can be very intimidating to think about approaching someone from scratch and saying, wow, so I am in this department and I work under you, under so-and-so, and I would love to learn more about what is the vision for the group, what is the vision for the department. Would you be open to a 15-minute cyber coffee so we can connect? And I can tell you, based on all the research that I am reading, all the advice that many of the big management firms are giving to companies, that employers and leaders are being told that connecting with their employees is absolutely fundamental. At this stage in our economy, where there is a talent crunch, where people are feeling isolated, where people are struggling with the hybrid workplace, it is so important for us to create connection, ways to connect with our employees so that the wanting to connect with people at work who they enjoy and like is the number one reason why they go back to the office. Not because there's a policy that says that we should come back to the office. And this is research that was conducted recently in August of 2022 by Microsoft. And one of the proactive steps that we can take as leaders is to look for ways for our employees to connect with each other when they're in the office. So if you are a leader, ensure that perhaps there's one day of the week when all of your team is in so they can connect with each other. And that's going to create that pool, that magnetic pull for them to want to be in the office together. So if you are a leader who is in the position to be a mentor or a sponsor for one or multiple employees, When someone reaches out to you about connecting for a 15-minute cyber coffee, trust me, you want to take that opportunity to connect. And because the word is going to spread around how you and other leaders within the organization are willing and open to do that. So if you are hesitating to reach out to mentors and sponsors, all that I would say is it will take a little dose of courage to do so. And once you take that step, which is related to taking risks, and this is a very well calculated risk, you may be surprised because many times when we don't do that is because we're making assumptions. So my follow-up question would be, if you are hesitant to reach out and connect with someone who you admire and respect within the organization, is to actually ask you, what assumptions are you making about how they will respond? And so once you make those connections, then the job is really about how do I then continue a relationship so we can have a mentor or sponsor relationship. And the way to do that is to, in my recommendation, is to do it organically by simply saying at the end of the conversation, would you be open if I reach out to you in a couple of months and check in with you? And that's it. And the person then has the choice to say, yes, that sounds great. I have this coming up. What if we meet later in the summer or early summer or whatever the case may be? And that's how we do it. That's how we create relationships with centers of influence within our organization that can help guide us, who have inside tracks on how to go to that place that you may want to go. Because if you notice, most of these advanced roles are not going to people who are unknown. These advanced roles are almost designated or have a label on them for people who are being groomed for those roles. And that may sound a little discouraging, and it may sound a little like, Ginny, maybe I need to start working on my relationships within my organization, because people won't really know your intentions, how you would like to grow, unless you say it. Unless you let your manager know, your mentor know, your sponsor know that you are ready for that next level because you have been doing what you're doing for X number of years and you feel ready to contribute at a higher level, taking on more responsibilities. And the minute you share that with someone in your circle of influence, the word will spread. And now when new opportunities come up, people will have you top of mind. If you don't do that, you're all in your head. You're the only person who knows you want to grow, and most likely you will leave looking for another growth opportunity, but yet you didn't give yourself a chance to grow within your company. And so what will happen is when you go to the new company in this new role, in a few years, when you want to grow again, you will take the same method and leave to grow rather than advocating for yourself and building those relationships that I was just talking about. So unless you learn the skill of building relationships, this is going to continue to follow you wherever you go, and you would not have learned the skill that is required for you to stay, grow, and add the most value in your organization. And I speak from experience. I was at my last company for almost 17 years, and it all happened because I began in my role when I joined the firm. I built relationships sideways, up, down, in every direction. And within those 16 plus years that I was there, I had 5 different roles. And that happened because of my ability to articulate to my management that I was interested in taking on more responsibilities and adding more value and being the best resource that I could be, being the best leader that I could be. And that required me to continually show up for myself, to continually understand what I wanted, to say yes to opportunities when they were good for me and for the firm, and to say no when I saw that those opportunities were not aligned with my zone of genius. And so you have the right to say no when things come your way that you don't feel aligned in terms of how you know you add the most value and what that requires. You get to say yes or no. So my friends, in conclusion, how do you show up for yourself in your current role? Whether you are staying put because you're happy with the level that you're at, or whether you're looking to advance and grow. That is the question I'm going to leave you with. And in the next time that we meet, we'll talk about the next golden nugget from my masterclass in November. It is always such a joy to connect with you and share these. Please leave me a comment if any of this resonates for you. And you know where to find me at callwithginny.com. Live with purpose, live with joy.